If you live to be 100, I hope I live to be 100 minus 1 day, so I never have to live without you. The words of Winnie the Pooh. Loyalty, the word of the day for construction leadership from A to Z, 26 words to lead by. Loyal, characterized by or showing faithfulness to commitments, vows, allegiance, obligations, etc. The opposite would be undependable or unfaithful. Loyalty is a two-way street. Today, the concept of loyalty in business seems almost as naive as that of integrity, but it still matters. Perhaps it matters even more in a society where it is less prevalent. If you hope for loyalty from your people, then you must extend it to them first. Statesman Donald Reagan said it plainly: you've got to give loyalty down if you want loyalty up. The traditional implied employment contract in the US states that in return for my hard work as an employee, you as an employer will take care of me and look out for me. Workers welcome the security of this arrangement, and even though it put companies in a somewhat parental role, it helps create that two-way loyalty. On a personal level, if the boss takes the heat for the employees, they will appreciate this and work harder to prevent heat in the future. When something goes wrong, the leader should say, "It was my fault," and move on. The loyal leader doesn't throw employees in front of a bus to save his own skin. Stanford professor Robert Sutton wrote in a Harvard Business Review article with the title, "The Boss as Human Shield." In it, he quotes baseball great Ernie Banks. "I learned from Mr. Wrigley early in my career that loyalty wins and it creates friendships. I saw it work for him in his business." Banks went on, "Loyalty and friendship created all the wealth I have." Now, cynics may say this kind of utopian workplace doesn't exist. I say that doesn't mean it isn't worth striving for. When I was a regional manager in the restaurant business, I told my team that the customer is always right, but they don't have the right to treat you like dirt. And there were times when we knew the customer was not right, but we opted to lose the battle to win the war. There were times when the customer, right or wrong, became abusive. They became verbally and sometimes even physically threatening. Now, if I was in the building at that point, I would enter the conversation and ask the customer to calm down. If they did, we could generally resolve the problem. If they refused to calm down, I would ask them again and inform that if they could not, they would have to leave. It didn't happen often, but I am proud to say that there were times I threw people out of my restaurants, out of loyalty to my staff, of course. Do your employees notice these things? Do they care? When it came time for me to move on from a restaurant that I had helped open, I was reminded that they do care. This restaurant was big on pins. Get certified in something, you got a pin to wear on your uniform shirt. Get a customer comment, get another pin. Whatever you accomplished, we had a pin for that. Now, the pineapple has long been a symbol of hospitality in the Americas. Being hospitable means taking care of people, looking out for them, being loyal. At a going away party for me, the team trainer made a brief speech on behalf of all the employees. Then she took a pineapple pin off her lapel and gave it to me. I still have it as a reminder that loyalty matters. This doesn't mean we don't disagree. In fact, a relationship characterized by loyalty will welcome discourse in search of the best outcomes. Healthy debate behind closed doors is fine, but once a decision is made, the group must close ranks and present a unified front. Any further action that is contrary to the good of the group or incites actions counter to the agreed upon decisions are disloyal and must be addressed by the leader. Zell Miller, former governor of Georgia, devoted a chapter of his book to loyalty in Core Values, Everything You Need to Know I Learned in the Marine Corps. He wrote, "Of all the human instincts, the strongest and most basic is the will to survive. An essential ingredient of that will is a well-defined sense of belonging," what he calls loyalty. He described it as the cement that binds people together. Further investigation would tell us the Marines defined cohesion as putting the values of the group over the values of the individual. It implies all members of the group are loyal to the group and what it's trying to accomplish. For the layman, cohesion means sticking together. That's loyalty at its best. As you can see, it's important for leaders to be loyal to their people. You get what you give, and if you want your employees to be loyal to you and your firm, then you need to be loyal to them first. If you treat them like an expendable number, they will act like one. So treat them well, value their input, and let them know you care, and they will go out of their way to make you look good. The greater the loyalty of a group toward the group, the greater the motivation among the members to achieve the goals of the group, and the greater the probability that the group will achieve its goals. The words of Rensis Liker. All right, let's jumpstart your loyalty and start thinking about things you can do. Always praise in public and criticize in private. Give credit, take the blame. Don't talk poorly about anyone on your team to anyone. Use we instead of me and them when talking about your team. And read The Loyalty Effect. All right, let's look at loyalty in action. A division of an international equipment manufacturer experienced a nearly 60% reduction in volume in 2009. There was simply not enough work to keep everyone in this division employed. However, there were indications that 2010 would show growth, and the manager didn't want to lose people and have to retrain new ones. He communicated with all his employees to keep them fully informed. During this slow phase, they worked on solutions to cut costs and retain staff. When there was nothing left to cut, he worked with them and the state to lay off employees for 30 days at a time. He was able to preserve their health care benefits during the layoff. Now, legally, he was not required to do this, but he wanted to keep as many employees as possible. This layoff rotation continued for 4 months, with about 25% of the workforce being idled at any one time. During this time, employee engagement scores actually increased. And when the plant returned to full production, it retained 96% of employees. All right, let's do some A to Z application for your loyalty. Break out your journals. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate on loyalty? How do you demonstrate loyalty to your employees? List someone you know who exemplifies this trait, and why did you select them? Would your employees say you are loyal to them? Have you asked them? Are people willing to take a bullet for you, and why, conceptually? And what one thing will you do to improve in this area? Well, there you have it. Construction leadership from A to Z, 26 words to lead by, and that was loyalty. I'm Wally Adamchik, president of Firestarter Speaking and Consulting, and I'll be back next time with another word. You know what's coming next. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the great words and content we have for you on this channel. Nothing builds itself.